Question 1. What was the purpose of the Statute of Rhuddlan in 1284? A. To annex Wales to the Crown of England. B. To establish parliamentary rules in Wales. C. To declare Welsh independence from England. D. To regulate trade between England and Wales. Answer A. To annex Wales to the Crown of England. The Statute of Rhuddlan in 1284 was significant for incorporating the land of Wales into the Kingdom of England, establishing English rule over Wales. Question 2. Name the treaty that ended the First Anglo-Dutch War. A. The Treaty of Westminster. B. The Treaty of Utrecht. C. The Treaty of Breda. D. The Treaty of Versailles. Answer C. The Treaty of Breda. The Treaty of Breda in 1667 ended the First Anglo-Dutch War, bringing peace between the English and the Dutch and allowing for territorial exchanges. Question 3. Who was the British monarch during the signing of the Treaty of Union in 1707? A. Queen Anne. B. King James II. C. Queen Elizabeth I. D. King George I. Answer A. Queen Anne. Queen Anne was the monarch during the signing of the Treaty of Union in 1707, which unified England and Scotland into the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 4. What was the Clarendon Code, and why was it significant? A. A set of navigation laws. B. Laws regulating colonial trade. C. A series of laws imposing religious uniformity in England. D. Legislation concerning the rights of citizens. Answer C. A series of laws imposing religious uniformity in England. The Clarendon Code in the 1660s aimed to secure the position of the re-established Church of England by persecuting nonconformists. Question 5. Detail the impact of the Glorious Revolution on the British constitutional monarchy. A. It established the monarchy as the supreme ruler. B. It limited the powers of the monarchy and affirmed parliamentary sovereignty. C. It dissolved the monarchy. D. It led to a temporary overthrow of the monarchy. Answer B. It limited the powers of the monarchy and affirmed parliamentary sovereignty. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 led to the Declaration of Right, which later became the Bill of Rights, and significantly shaped the future of the constitutional monarchy by limiting royal prerogatives and enhancing parliamentary power. Question 6. Which act first restricted the powers of the British monarch in 1689? A. The Act of Settlement. B. The Bill of Rights. C. The Magna Carta. D. The Royal Prerogative Act. Answer B. The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights in 1689 was crucial in restricting the powers of the monarchy and laid the foundation for a constitutional monarchy where the ruler could not rule without the consent of Parliament. Question 7. How did the South Sea Bubble affect the British economy in the 18th century? A. It led to significant economic growth. B. It caused a temporary increase in investment. C. It resulted in a major economic crisis. D. It had no effect on the economy. Answer C. It resulted in a major economic crisis. The South Sea Bubble was a financial scheme that collapsed in 1720, ruining many investors and shaking economic confidence in Britain. Question 8. Who were the Tolpuddle Martyrs and what was their significance in British Labour history? A. A group of lords who attempted to overthrow the monarchy. B. Labour activists who formed one of the first labour unions. C. Soldiers who mutinied against the British Army. D. Politicians who passed reformist labour laws. Answer B. Labour activists who formed one of the first labour unions. The Tolpuddle Martyrs were a group of 6 agricultural labourers in the village of Tolpuddle, arrested in 1834 for forming a trade union to protest declining wages, becoming symbols of the labour movement. Question 9. What role did Britain play in the Congress of Vienna in 1815? A. It led to Britain's isolation. B. Britain played a minor role. C. Britain was a leading power in shaping post-Napoleonic Europe. D. Britain opposed the decisions made at the Congress. Answer C. Britain was a leading power in shaping post-Napoleonic Europe. At the Congress of Vienna, Britain played a significant role in negotiating the terms that reshaped Europe's boundaries and established a balance of power after the defeat of Napoleon. Question 10. Describe the Chartism movement and its demands. A. A movement demanding higher taxes for the rich. B. A royalist movement seeking to restore absolute monarchy. C. A working-class movement for political reforms, including universal male suffrage. D. A movement aimed at abolishing the military. Answer C. A working-class movement for political reforms, including universal male suffrage. Chartism was a significant socio-political movement from 1838 to 1857, pressing for democratic reforms in Britain, most notably the People's Charter, which demanded universal male suffrage and other parliamentary reforms. Question 11. What was the Great Reform Act of 1832 and its impact on British society? A. It abolished the monarchy and established a republic. B. It extended voting rights to more men and reformed electoral districts. C. It mandated religious reforms. D. It established public education. Answer B. It extended voting rights to more men and reformed electoral districts. The Great Reform Act of 1832 was a landmark in British electoral reform, widening the electoral franchise and addressing malapportionment in the electoral districts, paving the way for further democratic reforms. Question 12. Who was the first British Prime Minister to reside at 10 Downing Street? A. Sir Robert Walpole. B. William Pitt the Younger. C. Winston Churchill. D. Margaret Thatcher. Answer A. Sir Robert Walpole. Recognized as the de facto first Prime Minister, Sir Robert Walpole was the first to reside at 10 Downing Street, which has since become the official residence and executive office of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Question 13. Explain the significance of the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. A. It marked the beginning of the British Empire's decline. B. It was a significant naval victory that confirmed British naval supremacy. C. It resulted in a defeat that led Britain to negotiate peace. D. It was an inconsequential skirmish with no long-term effects. Answer B. It was a significant naval victory that confirmed British naval supremacy. The Battle of Trafalgar in 1805 was a decisive victory over the combined fleets of France and Spain, cementing British control of the seas and preventing a French invasion of Britain. Question 14. What led to the passing of the Public Health Act in 1848? A. A desire to improve the living conditions in cities. B. An increase in the wealthy population. C. Pressure from foreign governments. D. A major military defeat. Answer A. A desire to improve the living conditions in cities. The Public Health Act of 1848 was passed in response to the deplorable sanitary conditions in British cities that were believed to contribute to disease and epidemics, marking the beginning of modern public health legislation in Britain. Question 15. Who authored the report leading to the establishment of the welfare state in Britain? A. John Maynard Keynes. B. Winston Churchill. C. William Beveridge. D. Clement Attlee. Answer. C. William Beveridge. The Beveridge Report, authored by William Beveridge in 1942, outlined a plan for a comprehensive range of social insurances, from health care to unemployment and pensions, which laid the foundation for the establishment of the welfare state post-World War II. Question 16. What was the Balfour Declaration of 1917? A. A statement promising Home Rule for Scotland. B. A declaration of war against Germany. C. A promise by Britain supporting the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. D. An economic policy to fight the Great Depression. Answer. C. A promise by Britain supporting the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government during World War I, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire. Question 17. Detail the causes and outcomes of the general strike of 1926. A. Caused by economic prosperity, resulted in improved labour laws. B. Caused by wage disputes in the mining industry, led to a 9-day shutdown, but little immediate change. C. Caused by political unrest, led to a change in government. D. Caused by demands for independence in colonies, led to decolonization. Answer. B. Caused by wage disputes in the mining industry, led to a 9-day shutdown, but little immediate change. The general strike of 1926 was primarily due to worsening conditions and wage reductions in the coal industry, leading to widespread strikes across various sectors. Although it lasted only 9 days and failed to achieve its immediate objectives, it had profound long-term effects on labour relations in the UK. Question 18. How did the Beveridge Report of 1942 influence British society? A. It led to the immediate end of World War II. B. It proposed social insurance programs that laid the groundwork for the welfare state. C. It called for increased military spending. D. It suggested the privatization of healthcare. Answer. B. It proposed social insurance programs that laid the groundwork for the welfare state. The Beveridge Report proposed comprehensive social insurance and welfare measures to address social evils, influencing the development of the welfare state in post-war Britain. Question 19. What were the primary reasons for the Suez Crisis of 1956? A. The nationalization of the Suez Canal by Egypt's President Nasser. B. A border dispute between Egypt and Israel. C. Economic sanctions against Egypt by Western powers. D. The discovery of oil in the Suez region. Answer. A. The nationalization of the Suez Canal by Egypt's President Nasser. The primary trigger for the Suez Crisis was the nationalization of the Suez Canal by Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser, leading to a military intervention by Britain, France, and Israel, aimed at regaining Western control over the canal and removing Nasser from power. Question 20. Which British scientific discovery in 1953 had a monumental impact on biology? A. The discovery of penicillin. B. The invention of the steam engine. C. The structure of DNA was elucidated by Watson and Crick. D. The theory of evolution by Charles Darwin. Answer C. The structure of DNA was elucidated by Watson and Crick. In 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick, working at the University of Cambridge, discovered the double helix structure of DNA, which had a profound and lasting impact on the biological sciences, revolutionizing our understanding of genetic information and inheritance. Question 21. How did the British government respond to the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya during the 1950s? A. By granting immediate independence to Kenya. B. Through diplomatic negotiations. C. With a military response to suppress the rebellion. D. By ignoring the conflicts. Answer C. With a military response to suppress the rebellion. The British government responded to the Mau Mau uprising with a military campaign to suppress the rebellion, which was part of a broader conflict over land and independence. Question 22. What was the significance of the Windscale fire in 1957? A. It was the first instance of a commercial nuclear power plant accident. B. It led to significant changes in nuclear safety protocols. C. It marked the end of nuclear power in the UK. D. Both A and B. Answer D. Both A and B. The Windscale fire in 1957 was a significant nuclear accident at one of the first nuclear reactors in the UK, leading to changes in nuclear safety protocols. Question 23. Describe the impact of the decolonization process on the British Empire post-World War II. A. It led to the rapid expansion of the British Empire. B. It resulted in the gradual independence of many colonies. C. It had no significant impact on the British Empire. D. It resulted in economic prosperity for the colonies. Answer B. It resulted in the gradual independence of many colonies. Post-World War II decolonization had a significant impact on the British Empire, leading to the independence of many colonies throughout Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean. Question 24. What was the Winter of Discontent in the late 1970s? A. A period marked by economic growth. B. A series of major strikes by public sector workers. C. A successful military campaign. D. A period of warm winter weather boosting tourism. Answer B. A series of major strikes by public sector workers. The Winter of Discontent in the late 1970s was marked by widespread strikes among public sector workers in the UK, driven by dissatisfaction with wage caps amid rising inflation, which severely disrupted public services. Question 25. Who was involved in the Falklands War of 1982 and what were the outcomes? A. Argentina and Brazil. Argentina won. B. The UK and Argentina. The UK reasserted sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. C. The UK and Spain. The UK lost. D. Argentina and the UK. It ended in a stalemate. Answer B. The UK and Argentina. The UK reasserted sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. The Falklands War was between the UK and Argentina over the disputed Falkland Islands, with the UK successfully reasserting its sovereignty over the islands. Question 26. What was the purpose behind the establishment of the poll tax in 1990? A. To reduce income inequality. B. To simplify the tax system. C. To increase government revenue from wealthy citizens. D. To replace property-based local taxes with a flat rate per capita tax. Answer D. To replace property-based local taxes with a flat rate per capita tax. The community charge, commonly known as the poll tax, was introduced in 1990 to replace property taxes with a flat rate tax per adult, which led to widespread protests and was eventually repealed. Question 27. Explain the Good Friday Agreement of 1998. A. It ended the conflict in Northern Ireland. B. It started the conflict in Northern Ireland. C. It was an economic agreement between the UK and Ireland. D. It was a trade agreement between the UK and the EU. Answer A. It ended the conflict in Northern Ireland. The Good Friday Agreement was a major political development in 1998 that helped to end most of the violence of the Troubles, a conflict involving nationalists and unionists in Northern Ireland. Question 28. How did the Human Rights Act 1998 affect UK law? A. It restricted human rights. B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into domestic law. C. It abolished all previous UK human rights laws. D. It had no significant impact. Answer B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into domestic law. The Human Rights Act 1998 was significant in that it incorporated the rights contained in the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law, allowing UK citizens to bring human rights cases in domestic courts. Question 29. What was the controversy surrounding the Millennium Dome? A. Its design was considered outdated. B. It was underfunded and never completed. C. It was criticized for being a waste of public money. D. It collapsed shortly after completion. Answer C. It was criticized for being a waste of public money. The Millennium Dome, built to house the Millennium Experience exhibition, celebrating the start of the third millennium, faced significant public and media criticism for its high costs and perceived lack of lasting use. Question 30. Detail the changes brought by the House of Lords Act 1999. A. It increased the powers of the House of Lords. B. It removed all hereditary peers from the House of Lords. C. It allowed the introduction of elected members to the House of Lords. D. It removed most hereditary peers, leaving only 92. Answer D. It removed most hereditary peers, leaving only 92. The House of Lords Act 1999 was a landmark reform that removed the automatic right of hereditary peers to sit in the House of Lords, except for 92 who were elected internally. Question 31. What were the main findings of the Hutton Inquiry in 2004? A. It found evidence of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. B. It criticised the BBC's handling of reports on the UK government's justification for the war in Iraq. C. It supported the government's actions without reservation. D. It led to the resignation of several high-profile journalists. Answer B. It criticised the BBC's handling of reports on the UK government's justification for the war in Iraq. The Hutton Inquiry was set up to investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of David Kelly, a weapons expert, and it heavily criticised the BBC for how it reported on government documents related to Iraq. Question 32. How did the financial crisis of 2008 affect the UK? A. It had little impact on the UK economy. B. It led to a major recession and a series of bank bailouts. C. It improved the financial regulations immediately. D. It boosted the real estate market. Answer B. It led to a major recession and a series of bank bailouts. The 2008 financial crisis significantly impacted the UK economy, resulting in a deep recession and prompting the government to bail out several major banks. Question 33. What was Operation U-Tree and its implications? A. A military operation in the Middle East. B. A conservation effort in northern England. C. A police investigation into historical sexual abuse allegations, particularly in the entertainment industry. D. A governmental restructuring initiative. Answer: C. A police investigation into the historical sexual abuse allegations, particularly in the entertainment industry. Operation U-Tree was launched in the wake of the Jimmy Savile scandal and led to a wide-ranging investigation of sexual abuse allegations, raising awareness and leading to several high-profile arrests and convictions. Question 34. Discuss the implications of the Scottish independence referendum in 2014. A. Scotland became independent from the UK. B. Scotland chose to remain part of the UK. C. It led to the immediate dissolution of the Scottish Parliament. D. It triggered the UK's exit from the European Union. Answer: B. Scotland chose to remain part of the UK. The 2014 Scottish independence referendum resulted in a decision to remain part of the United Kingdom, with 55% voting against independence. Question 35. What were the main issues addressed in the Leveson inquiry? A. Economic policies of the UK government. B. The ethics of the British press and media practices. C. Climate change and environmental policies. D. The effectiveness of the NHS. Answer: B. The ethics of the British press and media practices. The Leveson inquiry was established to investigate the practices and ethics of the British press following the News International phone hacking scandal. Question 36. Detail the consequences of the Brexit referendum of 2016. A. The UK voted to remain in the EU. B. The UK voted to leave the EU, leading to political and economic repercussions. C. It had no significant consequences. D. It led to the UK adopting the euro. Answer: B. The UK voted to leave the EU, leading to political and economic repercussions. The Brexit referendum resulted in a decision to leave the European Union, triggering extensive political debate, negotiations on withdrawal terms, and ongoing discussions about the future relationship between the UK and the EU. Question 37. What is the significance of the Chilcot Report? A. It cleared the UK of any wrongdoing in the Iraq War. B. It criticised the UK's decision to go to war in Iraq and questioned the legal basis for the action. C. It focused on climate change policies in the UK. D. It was a financial report on the UK's economy. Answer: B. It criticised the UK's decision to go to war in Iraq and questioned the legal basis for the action. The Chilcot Report was the result of an inquiry into the UK's involvement in the Iraq War, highlighting failures in the decision-making processes and the justification for entering the war. Question 38. How did the Grenfell Tower fire impact British regulations? A. It led to tighter safety regulations and reforms in building and fire safety standards. B. It had little impact on regulations. C. It loosened building codes. D. It focused on transportation safety instead. Answer: A. It led to tighter safety regulations and reforms in building and fire safety standards. The Grenfell Tower fire in 2017 led to significant scrutiny of building safety regulations, particularly concerning cladding and fire safety measures, resulting in calls for substantial reforms and changes to ensure such a tragedy does not happen again. Question 39. Discuss the role of the Magna Carta in shaping modern democracies. A. It established the concept of absolute monarchy. B. It played no significant role. C. It introduced the idea of a balanced budget. D. It laid foundational principles for the rule of law and liberties that influenced many democracies. Answer: D. It laid foundational principles for the rule of law and liberties that influenced many democracies. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, is considered a cornerstone of democratic development, introducing ideas of accountability and the rule of law that have influenced constitutional frameworks around the world. Question 40. What were the Corn Laws and their impact on British society? A. Laws that regulated the importation of corn, leading to widespread protests and their eventual repeal in 1846. B. Laws that promoted corn production, resulting in economic growth. C. Laws that had little to no impact on British society. D. Environmental regulations concerning corn production. Answer: A. Laws that regulated the importation of corn, leading to widespread protests and their eventual repeal in 1846. The Corn Laws were tariffs and restrictions on imported grain enforced in the UK between 1815 and 1846, designed to keep grain prices high to favour domestic producers. Their repeal followed significant public unrest and marked an important shift towards free trade. Question 41. Who was Margaret Thatcher and what were her major policies? A. A British monarch known for educational reforms. B. A British Prime Minister known for her conservative policies and economic liberalisation. C. A British activist known for labour rights. D. A British scientist known for her discoveries in chemistry. Answer: B. A British Prime Minister known for her conservative policies and economic liberalisation. Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990, was known for her strong conservative policies, economic liberalisation efforts, including privatisation of state-owned enterprises and reducing the power of trade unions. Question 42. Detail the formation and dissolution of the English Commonwealth. A. A period of democratic reform in the 19th century. B. The government formed after the English Civil War, led by Oliver Cromwell, lasting from 1649 to 1660. C. A 20th century economic alliance. D. A cultural movement in the early 20th century. Answer: B. The government formed after the English Civil War, led by Oliver Cromwell, lasting from 1649 to 1660. The English Commonwealth was the period of republican government in England, following the execution of Charles I, and ended with the restoration of the monarchy in 1660. Question 43. Who was Oliver Cromwell, and what was his role in British history? A. A British author known for his works on monarchy. B. A military leader and statesman who led the parliamentarian victory in the English Civil War and ruled as Lord Protector. C. A British explorer who travelled to the Americas. D. An artist during the English Renaissance. Answer: B. A military leader and statesman who led the parliamentarian victory in the English Civil War and ruled as Lord Protector. Oliver Cromwell is a pivotal figure in British history, known for his leadership during the English Civil War and his rule as Lord Protector during the Commonwealth. Question 44. Discuss the implications of the Acts of Union 1707 for Scotland and England. A. It created a new state known as the United Kingdom by politically uniting England and Scotland. B. It led to the independence of Scotland. C. It dissolved the parliaments of both nations without creating a new state. D. It was purely a military alliance with no political implications. Answer. A. It created a new state known as the United Kingdom by politically uniting England and Scotland. The Acts of Union 1707 merged the English and Scottish parliaments, forming the Parliament of Great Britain and marking a significant moment in the political history of the British Isles. Question 45. What role did Britain play in the Treaty of Versailles? A. Britain had no role in the treaty. B. Britain was a minor participant with little influence on the terms. C. Britain was one of the leading Allied powers and played a significant role in shaping the treaty. D. Britain opposed the treaty and its terms. Answer. C. Britain was one of the leading Allied powers and played a significant role in shaping the treaty. As one of the victorious Allied powers, Britain played a crucial role in the negotiations at the Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I and reshaped the map of Europe. Question 46. What were the main causes of the English Civil War? A. Economic disputes and colonial rivalries. B. Religious differences and power struggles between the monarchy and Parliament. C. Disagreements over the succession to the throne. D. Foreign invasions and military defeats. Answer. B. Religious differences and power struggles between the monarchy and Parliament. The English Civil War was primarily caused by ongoing conflicts between the monarchy, led by Charles I, and Parliament, stemming from issues of religious freedoms, governance, and the extent of royal authority. Question 47. Who was responsible for the creation of the Bank of England? A. Elizabeth I. B. Winston Churchill. C. Charles Montagu. D. Isaac Newton. Answer. C. Charles Montagu. Charles Montagu, 1st Earl of Halifax, was instrumental in the establishment of the Bank of England in 1694, which was originally founded to act as the English government's banker. Question 48. Describe the impact of the Enclosure Acts on British agricultural society. A. They decreased agricultural production. B. They redistributed land to create more communal farming areas. C. They consolidated land into fewer hands, leading to more efficient farming, but also displacing many small farmers. D. They banned the use of modern agricultural techniques. Answer. C. They consolidated land into fewer hands, leading to more efficient farming, but also displacing many small farmers. The Enclosure Acts allowed for the privatization and consolidation of land, leading to increased agricultural efficiency, but also contributing to social displacement and urban migration. Question 49. What is the significance of the Battle of Agincourt in 1415? A. It was a devastating defeat for England in the 100 Years' War. B. It was a minor skirmish with no long-term effects. C. It marked the beginning of the British Empire. D. It was a major English victory in the 100 Years' War against France, noted for the use of the longbow. Answer. D. It was a major English victory in the 100 Years' War against France, noted for the use of the longbow. The Battle of Agincourt is celebrated as a pivotal moment in English military history, where English forces, heavily outnumbered, defeated the French largely due to the effective use of the longbow. Question 50. How did the Industrial Revolution originate in Britain? A. Through government legislation to modernize agricultural practices. B. Through discoveries in science and technology that led to increased production efficiencies. C. It was imported from the United States in the late 19th century. D. It started with a focus on improving social welfare programs. Answer: B. Through discoveries in science and technology that led to increased production efficiencies. The Industrial Revolution began in Britain in the late 18th century, primarily due to innovations in textile manufacturing, steam power, and iron production, transforming economic and social structures. Question 51. What was the impact of the Slave Trade Act of 1807? A. It expanded the slave trade in the British Empire. B. It abolished the practice of slavery throughout the empire. C. It made the trade of slaves illegal within the British Empire. D. It had no immediate effect on slavery. Answer: C. It made the trade of slaves illegal within the British Empire. The Slave Trade Act of 1807 did not abolish slavery itself, but made the trade in slaves illegal, marking a significant step towards abolitionism in the British Empire. Question 52. Detail the historical significance of the Gunpowder Plot of 1605. A. It led to the establishment of the Church of England. B. It was a failed attempt by Catholic conspirators to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I. C. It resulted in the unification of England and Scotland. D. It was a successful coup that changed the monarchy. Answer: B. It was a failed attempt by Catholic conspirators to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I. The Gunpowder Plot, led by Guy Fawkes and other conspirators, is remembered every year on November 5th as a significant event in British history highlighting religious tensions. Question 53. Who was responsible for the establishment of the Royal Navy? A. Henry VIII. B. Elizabeth I. C. Oliver Cromwell. D. Winston Churchill. Answer: A. Henry VIII. King Henry VIII is credited with establishing the Royal Navy as a permanent professional fighting force, significantly enhancing England's maritime capabilities and its national defence. Question 54. Discuss the significance of the Battle of Britain during World War II. A. It was a major land battle that resulted in significant territorial gains for Britain. B. It was an air campaign fought over the British skies in 1940, crucial in preventing a Nazi invasion. C. It involved a naval blockade that starved Britain into surrender. D. It was a diplomatic victory that secured alliances. Answer: B. It was an air campaign fought over the British skies in 1940, crucial in preventing a Nazi invasion. The Battle of Britain was a significant turning point in World War II, marking the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces and helping to thwart Hitler's plans for invading Britain. Question 55. How did the British Empire contribute to the spread of cricket? A. Through military conquests that mandated the sport. B. By integrating cricket into educational systems within the empire. C. As part of cultural exchange programs. D. Through the colonial spread, where British officials and settlers introduced and promoted the sport in colonies. Answer: D. Through the colonial spread, where British officials and settlers introduced and promoted the sport in colonies. Cricket was spread by the British to various parts of the empire, where it took root and remains popular in many countries, including India, Australia, and South Africa. Question 56. What were the primary reasons for the formation of the United Kingdom in 1801? A. To strengthen military defences. B. Economic reasons and to streamline governance. C. The unification of Great Britain and Ireland under the Acts of Union. D. To enter into a trade agreement with other European nations. Answer. C. The unification of Great Britain and Ireland under the Acts of Union. The formation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland in 1801 was due to the Acts of Union that merged the individual parliaments and created a single political entity under the Crown. Question 57. Detail the Jacobite rebellions and their impact on British history. A. They were a series of attempts by Charles II to regain the throne. B. They were minor uprisings with little impact. C. Attempts by supporters of the deposed James II and his descendants to reclaim the throne, significantly affecting Scottish history and British policies towards Scotland. D. They led to the establishment of parliamentary democracy in Britain. Answer. C. Attempts by supporters of the deposed James II and his descendants to reclaim the throne, significantly affecting Scottish history and British policies towards Scotland. The Jacobite rebellions, particularly those of 1715 and 1745, had profound effects on British politics and military policies, leading to harsh measures to integrate and control Scotland. Question 58. What role did the East India Company play in the establishment of British India? A. It was primarily a cultural organisation promoting British values. B. It was a military organisation without any commercial interests. C. It played a crucial role as a trading body that eventually controlled large parts of India. D. It had no role in India. Answer. C. It played a crucial role as a trading body that eventually controlled large parts of India. The East India Company, chartered by Queen Elizabeth I in 1600, started as a trading body but gradually assumed administrative and military functions, becoming instrumental in the establishment of British control over India. Question 59. Who was Richard Arkwright and what was his contribution to the Industrial Revolution? A. A politician who promoted industrial policies. B. An inventor known for his development of the water frame, revolutionizing the textile industry. C. A military leader who used industrial techniques in logistics. D. A philosopher who wrote about industrialization. Answer. B. An inventor known for his development of the water frame, revolutionizing the textile industry. Richard Arkwright's invention of the water frame in 1769 greatly enhanced the production of textiles, making it a key development in the Industrial Revolution. Question 60. What were the Peterloo Massacre and its effects on British law? A. A peaceful protest that led to no significant changes. B. A violent protest that resulted in stricter gun laws. C. A gathering that ended in the killing of protesters by the cavalry, leading to reforms in public assembly laws. D. A naval battle that changed maritime laws. Answer. C. A gathering that ended in the killing of protesters by the cavalry, leading to reforms in public assembly laws. The Peterloo Massacre in 1819, where cavalry charged into a crowd demanding reform of parliamentary representation, resulted in public outrage and significant changes to laws governing public assemblies. Question 61. How did the Napoleonic Wars affect Britain's global standing? A. It weakened Britain's influence worldwide. B. It led to Britain's isolation in Europe. C. It solidified Britain as the preeminent naval and imperial power. D. It resulted in the loss of British colonies in America. Answer. C. It solidified Britain as the preeminent naval and imperial power. The Napoleonic Wars significantly enhanced Britain's global standing, establishing it as the dominant naval power and paving the way for its 19th century imperial expansion. Question 62. Who was Emmeline Pankhurst and what did she achieve? A. A British queen who advocated for women's education. B. A leading suffragette who campaigned for women's right to vote. C. A novelist who wrote about women's lives in Victorian England. D. A scientist who made significant contributions to nuclear physics. Answer. B. A leading suffragette who campaigned for women's right to vote. Emmeline Pankhurst was a prominent figure in the British suffragette movement, known for her militant tactics in fighting for women's suffrage, which significantly advanced the cause of women's rights in Britain. Question 63. What was the impact of the Education Act 1944? A. It prohibited public education. B. It mandated religious education in all schools. C. It established the modern state education system, making secondary education free for all children. D. It limited education to certain social classes. Answer. C. It established the modern state education system, making secondary education free for all children. The Education Act of 1944, also known as the Butler Act, was a landmark legislation in British education history, which created a tripartite system and expanded educational opportunities across the country. Question 64. Who was the first British astronaut in space and what was the mission? A. Tim Peake on the International Space Station mission. B. Helen Sharman on the Juno mission to Mir Space Station. C. Michael Foale on the Space Shuttle mission. D. Piers Sellers on the Hubble Space Telescope servicing mission. Answer. B. Helen Sharman on the Juno mission to Mir Space Station. Helen Sharman became the first British astronaut and the first woman to visit the Mir Space Station in 1991 as part of Project Juno. Question 65. Discuss the significance of the British Nationality Act 1981. A. It restricted immigration from non-Commonwealth countries. B. It defined the different categories of British nationality, including British Overseas Territory citizenship. C. It abolished dual citizenship in the UK. D. It extended the right to vote to all citizens living abroad. Answer. B. It defined the different categories of British nationality, including British Overseas Territories citizenship. The British Nationality Act 1981 was significant for clarifying the various forms of British nationality and the legal status of citizens in British territories, reshaping the legal framework of citizenship in the post-colonial context. Question 66. How did the Iron Curtain speech by Winston Churchill affect international relations? A. It improved relations between the West and the Soviet Union. B. It was dismissed as irrelevant by most countries. C. It marked the beginning of heightened Cold War tensions. D. It led to the immediate end of the Cold War. Answer. C. It marked the beginning of heightened Cold War tensions. Winston Churchill's Iron Curtain speech in 1946 is considered one of the opening volleys in the Cold War, dramatically highlighting the divide between the Soviet-controlled East and the Western democracies, influencing Western policies toward containment of Soviet influence. Question 67. What was the significance of the Battle of Somme in World War I? A. It was an overwhelming victory for the Allies with minimal casualties. B. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the war, symbolizing the futility and destructiveness of trench warfare. C. It resulted in a quick end to the war. D. It had no significant impact on the war's outcome. Answer: B. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the war, symbolizing the futility and destructiveness of trench warfare. The Battle of the Somme in 1916 is remembered for its horrific casualties and the limited territorial gains it achieved, exemplifying the stalemate and devastation of World War I trench warfare. Question 68. Who was Ernest Rutherford, and what were his major scientific contributions? A. A British economist who developed theories on capital markets. B. A British physicist who discovered the electron. C. A New Zealand-born British physicist known for pioneering the orbital theory of the atom. D. A British historian who wrote about the Industrial Revolution. Answer: C. A New Zealand-born British physicist known for pioneering the orbital theory of the atom. Ernest Rutherford is credited with the discovery of the atomic nucleus and the development of the orbital theory of the atom, laying the groundwork for modern nuclear physics. Question 69. How did the UK respond to the Irish potato famine? A. By providing immediate and effective relief. B. By ignoring the crisis. C. With policies that were widely criticised for their inadequacy and contributing to the severity of the famine. D. By closing its borders. Answer: C. With policies that were widely criticised for their inadequacy and contributing to the severity of the famine. The British government's response to the Irish potato famine in the mid-19th century is often criticised for being slow and insufficient, exacerbating the disaster that led to mass starvation and emigration. Question 70. What were the effects of the Clean Air Act 1956? A. It increased air pollution due to industrial exemptions. B. It was ineffective and repealed shortly after enactment. C. It significantly reduced air pollution through regulations on smoke and soot emissions. D. It focused only on water pollution. Answer: C. It significantly reduced air pollution through regulations on smoke and soot emissions. The Clean Air Act 1956 was introduced in response to the Great Smog of London in 1952 and marked a major development in environmental policy, effectively reducing the air pollution that had plagued British cities for decades. Question 71. Discuss the significance of the gold standard in British economic history. A. It was a system that based the value of currency on the performance of the stock market. B. It pegged the value of the pound to a specific quantity of gold, stabilizing the economy but limiting economic flexibility. C. It was a failed experiment that lasted only a few years. D. It linked the pound to silver, not gold. Answer: B. It pegged the value of the pound to a specific quantity of gold, stabilizing the economy but limiting economic flexibility. The gold standard was significant for maintaining price stability and credibility in international trade, but was criticized for constraining monetary policy during economic downturns. Question 72. What was the role of Britain in the formation of the League of Nations? A. Britain opposed the formation of the League. B. Britain was a leading advocate for its creation and a founding member. C. Britain joined only after being forced by other nations. D. Britain had no role in the League of Nations. Answer: B. Britain was a leading advocate for its creation and a founding member. After World War I, Britain played a significant role in establishing the League of Nations, aimed at maintaining peace and preventing future conflicts, although the League ultimately failed to prevent another world war. Question 73. Who was Aneurin Bevan, and what was his contribution to British healthcare? A. He was a military officer who implemented health standards in the army. B. He was a health minister who played a pivotal role in establishing the National Health Service, NHS. C. He was a businessman who founded a private healthcare company. D. He was a scientist who discovered penicillin. Answer B. He was a health minister who played a pivotal role in establishing the National Health Service, NHS. Aneurin Bevan is best remembered for his role as Minister of Health in the post-war Labour government and for being the chief architect of the NHS, ensuring free healthcare at the point of delivery for all UK citizens. Question 74. Discuss the impact of the Black Death on medieval England. A. It led to a significant increase in the population. B. It resulted in major economic and social changes due to a dramatic reduction in the population. C. It had minimal impact on medieval society. D. It improved health standards by leading to the development of modern medicines. Answer B. It resulted in major economic and social changes due to a dramatic reduction in the population. The Black Death, which struck England in the mid-14th century, drastically reduced the population, leading to significant labour shortages, economic upheaval, and a shift in social structures. Question 75. Who was the first female Member of Parliament in the UK? A. Margaret Thatcher. B. Nancy Astor. C. Emmeline Pankhurst. D. Mary Wollstonecraft. Answer B. Nancy Astor. Nancy Astor became the first woman to take a seat as a Member of Parliament, MP, in the UK in 1919, representing the Conservative Party in the House of Commons. Question 76. What was the role of the British in the development of the computer? A. Britain had no involvement in the development of computers. B. British scientists and mathematicians played a key role, including Alan Turing's work on the theoretical foundations of computing. C. The British focused solely on mechanical computing devices. D. British contributions were limited to commercial computing applications. Answer B. British scientists and mathematicians played a key role, including Alan Turing's work on the theoretical foundations of computing. Britain contributed significantly to early computer technology, notably through Alan Turing's work, which laid the groundwork for modern computing, and his involvement in developing the Bombay machine used to decrypt Enigma during World War II. Question 77. Discuss the UK's nuclear deterrent policy during the Cold War. A. The UK had no nuclear weapons during the Cold War. B. The UK developed and maintained nuclear weapons as a deterrent against potential Soviet aggression. C. The UK relied solely on the US for nuclear protection. D. The UK opposed the use of nuclear weapons and promoted disarmament. Answer B. The UK developed and maintained nuclear weapons as a deterrent against potential Soviet aggression. The UK's policy of maintaining a nuclear arsenal during the Cold War was aimed at deterring Soviet aggression and ensuring national security, aligning with its NATO commitments. Question 78. How did the Anglo-Zanzibar War influence British colonial policy? A. It had no impact on colonial policy. B. It led to a more aggressive expansionist policy in East Africa. C. It resulted in a policy of rapid decolonization. D. It caused Britain to abandon its interests in Africa. Answer B. It led to a more aggressive expansionist policy in East Africa. The Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896, one of the shortest wars in history, solidified British control over Zanzibar and reflected Britain's broader imperialistic policies in East Africa during that period. Question 79. What was the impact of the Thatcher government's privatization policies? A. They led to the nationalization of major industries. B. They were reversed after a year due to public opposition. C. They resulted in the privatization of major state-owned enterprises, impacting the UK's economic landscape. D. They had minimal impact on the economy. Answer C. They resulted in the privatization of major state-owned enterprises, impacting the UK's economic landscape. Margaret Thatcher's government implemented extensive privatization policies during the 1980s, significantly transforming the British economy by reducing the role of the state in business and industry. Question 80. What was the triple intent and its role in World War I? A. An alliance between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy that precipitated the war. B. A trade agreement between Britain, France, and Russia. C. An alliance between Britain, France, and Russia that countered the Triple Alliance and played a central role in the formation of World War I alliances. D. A peace treaty that ended World War I. Answer C. An alliance between Britain, France, and Russia that countered the Triple Alliance and played a central role in the formation of World War I alliances. The Triple Intent was a key alliance that set the stage for the network of alliances during World War I, significantly influencing the dynamics and outcomes of the war. Question 81. Discuss the impact of the British Agricultural Revolution. A. It decreased agricultural productivity. B. It led to significant advances in farming techniques and productivity, contributing to population growth. C. It resulted in widespread famine. D. It discouraged technological innovation in agriculture. Answer B. It led to significant advances in farming techniques and productivity, contributing to population growth. The British Agricultural Revolution involved innovations like crop rotation and selective breeding, which greatly increased food production and supported population growth and urbanization. Question 82. What was the significance of the Bill of Rights 1689? A. It affirmed royal supremacy over Parliament. B. It established certain rights and liberties of the Parliament and the rights of individuals, limiting the powers of the monarch. C. It granted universal suffrage. D. It was a purely symbolic document with no legal impact. Answer B. It established certain rights and liberties of the Parliament and the rights of individuals, limiting the powers of the monarch. The Bill of Rights 1689 is a fundamental piece of British constitutional law that clarified the limits of royal authority and cemented the supremacy of Parliament. Question 83. Detail the historical context and outcomes of the Battle of Waterloo. A. It was a minor skirmish in the American Revolutionary War. B. It was a decisive victory for Napoleon Bonaparte, extending his rule over Europe. C. It marked the definitive defeat of Napoleon by the Allies, ending his rule and the Napoleonic Wars. D. It resulted in a stalemate with no clear victor. Answer C. It marked the definitive defeat of Napoleon by the Allies, ending his rule and the Napoleonic Wars. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815 is one of the most famous battles in European history, where British forces under the Duke of Wellington played a crucial role. Question 84. What was the significance of the Reform Acts across the 19th century? A. They restricted voting rights to a small elite. B. They expanded the franchise, making the British electoral system more democratic. C. They abolished the monarchy. D. They were primarily concerned with economic reforms. Answer: B. They expanded the franchise, making the British electoral system more democratic. The Reform Acts were a series of measures that gradually extended the right to vote, broadening the democratic base of the country and reforming parliamentary representation. Question 85. Who was John Stuart Mill, and what were his contributions to British political philosophy? A. A king who implemented feudal laws. B. A philosopher known for his writings on liberty, utilitarianism, and the emancipation of women. C. A general in the British Army. D. A playwright famous for his political satires. Answer: B. A philosopher known for his writings on liberty, utilitarianism, and the emancipation of women. John Stuart Mill was an influential thinker whose works on political and social theory contributed significantly to discussions on personal freedom and governance. Question 86. How did the Great Exhibition of 1851 showcase Britain's industrial leadership? A. By demonstrating military innovations. B. Through a display of Britain's colonial possessions. C. It was a cultural festival with no industrial or technological displays. D. By displaying technological innovations and the goods of the empire, emphasizing Britain's role as an industrial leader. Answer: D. By displaying technological innovations and the goods of the empire, emphasizing Britain's role as an industrial leader. Held in the Crystal Palace, the Great Exhibition was the first World's Fair, showcasing the heights of the Industrial Revolution and Britain's global economic dominance. Question 87. What was the impact of the Woolwich Arsenal on British military history? A. It was primarily an agricultural research station. B. It was a key site for the manufacture of munitions and military material, contributing significantly to Britain's military capabilities. C. It served as a ceremonial site with no military significance. D. It was a naval dockyard. Answer: B. It was a key site for the manufacture of munitions and military material, contributing significantly to Britain's military capabilities. The Woolwich Arsenal played a crucial role in the development and supply of military equipment and ordnance, influencing British military engagements. Question 88. Discuss the significance of the Elizabethan religious settlement. A. It confirmed the separation of church and state. B. It marked the permanent abolition of the Church of England. C. It established a moderate form of Protestantism as the national faith, defining the religious character of England. D. It led to the widespread adoption of Catholicism in England. Answer: C. It established a moderate form of Protestantism as the national faith, defining the religious character of England. The Elizabethan religious settlement, crafted by Queen Elizabeth I, aimed to unify the country religiously by finding a middle ground between radical Protestantism and Roman Catholicism. Question 89. How did the British government handle the Tyburn riots? A. By granting concessions to the rioters. B. Through harsh military suppression. C. By ignoring the unrest. D. By negotiating a peaceful resolution. Answer: B. Through harsh military suppression. The Tyburn riots, like many other public disturbances of the period, were met with a strong governmental response, reflecting the authorities' approach to civil unrest during that era. Question 90. What was the role of the Secret Intelligence Service in World War II? A. It was primarily involved in diplomatic negotiations. B. It had no significant role during the war. C. It gathered intelligence that was crucial to the Allied war effort. D. It served as a medical court. Answer: C. It gathered intelligence that was crucial to the Allied war effort. Known as MI6, the Secret Intelligence Service played a critical role in collecting and analyzing information that significantly aided the Allies in planning and executing military operations during World War II. Question 91. How did the British Railways Act of 1921 affect transportation in the UK? A. It led to the decline of railway transportation. B. It nationalised railways, consolidating hundreds of private rail companies into 4 major regional ones. C. It privatised all rail transport. D. It had no significant impact on rail transportation. Answer: B. It nationalised railways, consolidating hundreds of private rail companies into 4 major regional ones. The British Railways Act of 1921 was significant for reshaping the railway industry in the UK, leading to greater efficiency and coordination in rail services. Question 92. What was the significance of the Pankhurst's Women's Social and Political Union? A. It was a literary society that had little impact on social issues. B. It advocated for the abolition of the monarchy. C. It was a leading militant organisation campaigning for women's suffrage. D. It focused on improving working conditions for men. Answer: C. It was a leading militant organisation campaigning for women's suffrage. Founded by Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters, the Women's Social and Political Union was pivotal in the fight for women's voting rights in the UK, known for its aggressive tactics and public protests. Question 93. Detail the origins and impacts of the British welfare state. A. It originated in the 16th century as a response to feudalism. B. It began with the Beveridge Report of 1942, leading to the establishment of comprehensive social insurance and public health services. C. It was a 19th century movement that failed to implement any lasting changes. D. It was established to curb public spending. Answer: B. It began with the Beveridge Report of 1942, leading to the establishment of comprehensive social insurance and public health services. The development of the British welfare state transformed social welfare policies, significantly impacting health, education and social security in post-war Britain. Question 94. Who was Sir Francis Drake, and what were his contributions to the British Empire? A. A playwright who promoted British culture. B. A naval commander known for circumnavigating the globe and his role in defeating the Spanish Armada. C. A politician involved in the English Reformation. D. A scientist who discovered gravity. Answer: B. A naval commander known for circumnavigating the globe and his role in defeating the Spanish Armada. Sir Francis Drake was an English sea captain, privateer and navigator who played a key role in English naval victories against Spain and the exploration of the Americas. Question 95. Discuss the impact of the Cable Street Battle of 1936 on British social movements. A. It led to the strengthening of far-right groups. B. It was an inconsequential event with little historical significance. C. It marked a significant anti-fascist action where thousands of people blocked the march of the British Union of Fascists. D. It resulted in major legislative changes in labour laws. Answer: C. It marked a significant anti-fascist action where thousands of people blocked the march of the British Union of Fascists. The Battle of Cable Street is remembered as a key moment in British anti-fascist history, demonstrating popular opposition to fascism and influencing public policy against extremist political movements. Question 96. What role did Britain play in the early years of the United Nations? A. Britain was initially opposed to the formation of the United Nations. B. Britain was a founding member and played a key role in its early operations and the drafting of its charter. C. Britain joined only after significant changes were made to the charter. D. Britain played a minimal role, focusing instead on its empire. Answer B. Britain was a founding member and played a key role in its early operations and the drafting of its charter. As one of the victors of World War II, Britain was instrumental in shaping the structure and mission of the United Nations, advocating for peace and international cooperation. Question 97. Who was Sir Robert Peel, and what reforms did he introduce? A. He was a military leader who reformed the British Army. B. He founded the modern police force, introducing significant changes in law enforcement in the UK. C. He was a medical doctor who introduced modern medical practices. D. He was an educator who reformed the British educational system. Answer B. He founded the modern police force, introducing significant changes in law enforcement in the UK. Sir Robert Peel is best known for establishing the Metropolitan Police Service in 1829, which became a model for modern policing in Britain and around the world. Question 98. How did the Battle of Dunkirk affect British morale during World War II? A. It was a crushing defeat that led to a quick British surrender. B. The evacuation represented a significant psychological victory, boosting British morale and resolve. C. It had no significant impact on British morale or the course of the war. D. It led to widespread panic and the collapse of the British government. Answer B. The evacuation represented a significant psychological victory, boosting British morale and resolve. The successful evacuation of British and Allied troops from Dunkirk in 1940, despite being a military retreat, was celebrated as a miracle of deliverance and strengthened British determination to continue the fight against Nazi Germany. Question 99. What was the impact of the Broadcasting Act 1990 on British media? A. It restricted the growth of private television and radio stations. B. It led to the deregulation and liberalisation of the broadcasting industry, increasing competition and variety in the market. C. It nationalised all private broadcasting stations. D. It had no impact on the broadcasting industry. Answer B. It led to the deregulation and liberalisation of the broadcasting industry, increasing competition and variety in the market. The Broadcasting Act 1990 was significant for opening up the British broadcasting market to greater competition, facilitating the growth of satellite, cable and independent broadcasters, and impacting how television and radio were produced and consumed.